Dan Graziano, what can you tell us about the insight? Because this seems contrary to the moves they've made so far this offseason.
It does, right. One of the main reasons Doug Peterson is no longer the Eagles head coach is because he and the organization had a different view on what to do with Wentz going forward. One of the reasons Nick Sirianni is the Eagles head coach is because they view him as a guy, because he worked for Frank Reich, who could potentially fix Carson Wentz. The Eagles do not want to move on from Wentz. They want to get him back playing well and have him be their franchise quarterback. So what Adam is saying is that Wentz, we have seen nothing to dispute Chris Mortensen's reporting from a few weeks ago that said Wentz wants out. And as long as he wants out, the trade is still possible. Does he pull what Deshaun Watson is doing in Houston and try and force the team's hand? But you mentioned, Greeny, almost $34 million in dead money against their cap if they trade him this spring. That's a lot more. Jared Goff is costing the Rams $22 million in dead money this year, one of the highest figures ever. So it's a lot more complicated and difficult for the Eagles to move Wentz, even than it was for the Rams to move Goff. And I think that's important for people to remember as we go forward here.
So many people, myself included, sort of perceived what's happened there as Wentz winning a power struggle with Doug Peterson. That's why he's still there. So the notion of trading him seems crazy. Booger, you were shaking your head. What are your thoughts?
Well, Greeny, because I don't think he's going to get traded. Listen, down in Houston, we have a quarterback that's trying to get everything he wants, and the organization doesn't seem to want to give it. In Philadelphia, they're trying to give Carson Wentz everything he wants. They're bringing in a coach from Frank Reich and Nick Sirianni that basically says, hey, go in and fix Carson Wentz. Jalen Hurts probably earned the right to be the starter going into the season, but I guarantee you he's not going to be. At the very, very worst, it's going to be a quarterback competition. So what does Carson Wentz want? We're giving you everything you want in this organization, but you still want out? I think other teams around the league would probably look at him and say, well, what exactly are you looking for? You have a tailor-made situation in Philly. You have a head coach that comes from a tree with Frank Reich that you were successful under. What are you looking for? So I honestly do not think he's going to get traded. I think Jeffrey Lurie and that organization did everything they can to acquiesce to him. We brought in a coach that fits you. I just don't think. I love Shefty, but I just don't think Carson Wentz is going anywhere, and it's going to be a quarterback competition between Wentz and Jalen Hurts going into the season, and may the best man win.
Well, to be clear, I think what Shefty is saying is Wentz may still try to force this, that nothing that has happened has changed Wentz's view on the thing. We all get the Eagles don't want to do it, Lewis, so where does it go from here?
Yeah, look, right now I just don't understand where Carson feels as though his bargaining power really is coming from. Because, look, if he were to sit there and assess his own performance value relative to his cost, what acquiring team right now is going to be beating down the door of the Philadelphia Eagles to get him? Because given all the things that he struggled with this past year, and I'm a defender of Carson Wentz, I still believe that the young man has a great career ahead of him, provided he gets his act together. I mean, if you're Carson Wentz and you're evaluating your own performance, let's see, I didn't play very well. I have this injury-prone type of label that's hanging over my head. I'm sitting here and I'm being perceived as someone who didn't react very well to a young quarterback from Oklahoma being brought in here, and Jalen Hurts, who then took my job, and I'm kind of like being perceived as being a guy who's a powder, who's kind of stomping his feet and saying, you know what, I didn't like the fact that I had to sit on the bench, and now you're talking about, maybe, sending me out of here, and maybe I just want out of here, and I don't like how the fans treat me, on and on and on. Well, if I'm another football team, I'm going, what do I want to deal with that for and take on that contract? So not only may you not have a buyer, but the Eagles may be sitting there going, look, we're not taking on all this dead money for this. We're going to try and fix this, and that's what we've tried to do. So what does that all equal to me? Carson being in Philadelphia. But as Shefty has said, and as I know very well from experience, anything can happen in this league, but I would be shocked if he's moved.
Thank you for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.